You're sitting at a red light in your brand new Ford F-250 King Ranch, cost $87,000. The leather smells fresh. The dashboard looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. When you pull up next to a Prius, you're sitting 6 inches higher than everyone else. You feel powerful. You feel ready for anything. You feel like a real man. But here's the problem. You work in an office, you don't do construction, you don't farm, you don't tow anything. The bed of your truck has hauled exactly three things in 8 months: one bag of mulch, your kid's bike, and a case of water from Costco. Meanwhile, you're bleeding money so fast that Ford should send you a thank you card for funding their next shareholder meeting. I'm Will, and today we're going to calculate what this truck actually cost you, not the number the dealer showed you, not what your friends say when they're 3 beers deep. The real number, the one that should terrify you, because somehow between 2015 and now, millions of American men decided that being masculine means making massive monthly payments on a vehicle built for commercial construction while you commute to an air conditioned office where the heaviest thing you lift is a coffee mug. And the math behind this decision is so catastrophically stupid that it makes buying lottery tickets look smart. Let's start with the sticker price because that's where your brain stopped working. The average new pickup truck now costs $62,000. That's average, not fancy. If you want the trim that makes you feel like you own a ranch, the King Ranch or Laramie Longhorn or whatever tough sounding name marketing people invented, you're paying $75,000 to $95,000. But think about that for a second. The median household income in America is $84,000 a year. Yeah, you're financing a vehicle that costs more than most families earn in an entire year. You're about to spend 12 months of your family's salary on a truck. Now let's add up what this decision actually costs. The dealer shows you the monthly payment. It's $1,247. That sounds almost manageable because they stretched it over 84 months. That's 7 years. You will be making payments on this truck longer than most marriages last. But sure, $1,247 per month seems doable until we start adding everything they didn't mention during your test drive. First up, gas. Your F-250 gets about 15 miles per gallon if you're lucky. A Honda Accord gets 35 miles per gallon. Let's say you drive 15,000 miles a year, pretty normal at $3.50 per gallon. Your truck costs you $3,500 a year in gas. The sedan would cost $1,500. That's $2,000 extra every single year, or $167 extra every month, just because you wanted to sit higher than everyone else. Then there's insurance. You're not insuring a work truck, you're insuring a $90,000 luxury vehicle. If you total a Camry, the insurance company loses $30,000. If you total your fancy F-250, they lose $90,000. That massive price tag spikes your insurance premiums. That's an extra $60 to $80 per month compared to the sedan. Now let's talk about tires. Those massive all-terrain tires you absolutely needed, even though you only drive on pavement. Replacing all four costs between $1,500 and $2,000. You'll need new ones every 40,000 to 50,000 miles. On a sedan, new tires cost maybe $600. That's another $50 to $75 per month when you average it out. So maintenance costs more too. Bigger vehicle, bigger everything. Oil changes cost more because the engine holds more oil. Brake jobs cost more because everything is massive. Add another $100 per month compared to a normal car. We're not done. Registration and taxes. Many states charge you based on your vehicle's value. On a $90,000 truck, your annual registration could hit $800 to $1,200 depending where you live. That's another $80 per month. Let's add this up. Truck payment $1,247, extra gas $167, extra insurance $60, tire costs $75, extra maintenance $100, registration $80. Your total monthly cost is now $1,729. But wait, there's more. You didn't pay cash, you financed it at 7.2% interest because your credit is good but not great. Over 84 months, you're not just paying $90,000, you're paying $104,748. Oh, that's $14,748 in pure interest. Money you gave to a bank just for the privilege of borrowing money to buy something that loses value every single day. Now compare this to buying a 3-year-old Toyota Camry for $28,000. Your payment would be around $450 per month. Insurance would be $180, gas would be $125, maintenance would be minimal. Your total monthly cost would be roughly $850. The difference between the truck and the sedan is $879 per month. That's $10,548 per year. Over the 7 years, you'll be paying off that truck. Choosing the truck over the sedan costs you $73,836, almost $74,000. That's not fuzzy math. That's the actual cost of needing to feel like you could theoretically tow a boat you don't own to a lake you never visit. But here's what makes this truly insane. You're not just spending $74,000 extra. You're losing what that money could have become. If you took that $879 monthly difference and invested it in a basic index fund averaging 8% returns, after 7 years, you'd have $95,000. You could buy a lake house, you could buy the boat, you could actually become the person you're pretending to be when you drive that truck. Instead, you're sitting in traffic burning expensive gas while making payments on a vehicle that lost $15,000 in value the second you drove it off the lot. And we haven't even talked about the stress, the constant worry that one unexpected expense, one job loss, one medical bill could destroy your ability to make that $1,729 monthly payment. You're not driving a truck, you're driving a financial anxiety machine with all terrain tires. The real question isn't whether you can afford the monthly payment. The question is what that payment is stealing from your future. Let's talk about what happens when you destroy your finances slowly over 7 years while convincing yourself you made a smart choice. Because that truck payment doesn't just cost money, it warps your entire life like a black hole warps space. Every financial decision you make for the next decade gets filtered through that $1,729 monthly obligation. First, there's the home you can't buy. Mortgage lenders look at your debt to income ratio. They want your total monthly debt to be under 43% of your income. That truck payment alone eats up 26% of an $85,000 salary before you even think about a mortgage. Congratulations, you just locked yourself out of buying a $350,000 house because you needed to look tough at the Starbucks drive-through. Then there's the vacation you can't take. Your friends are planning a week in Colorado. Flights are $400. The Airbnb split is $300. Lift tickets are $500. That's $1,200 total. You look at your bank account, you just made the truck payment, you got $600 until Friday. You tell them you're too busy with work, they go without you. You stay home and wash the truck in your driveway, convincing yourself that detailing the paint counts as a hobby. There's the emergency fund that never happens. Financial experts say you need 6 months of expenses saved. For you, that's about $18,000. But after the truck payment, insurance, rent, student loans, and groceries, you've got maybe $200 left each month. At that rate, it'll take you 7.5 years to build that emergency fund, which means for 7.5 years, you're one car repair away from a credit card spiral. And speaking of credit cards, let's talk about the debt you pile up because of the truck. You can't afford new work clothes. So, you put $400 on the Visa, your friend's wedding is out of state, so you put the hotel on the card. Christmas comes and you've got nothing saved, so you put $800 on the card. Within 2 years, you're carrying a $6,000 balance at 23% interest. You're paying $115 per month in interest alone, which is just money evaporating into thin air. You're paying a bank for the privilege of having bought things in the past. Now let's talk about relationship problems. If you're married or living with someone, that truck payment becomes a third person in your relationship. Every money conversation is shadowed by it. Your partner wants to save for a down payment. You can't because of the truck. Your partner wants to fix the leaking roof. You can't because of the truck. Your partner suggests maybe selling the truck. You get defensive because you've tied your identity to it. Resentment builds. The truck isn't just costing you money, it's costing you peace at home. Here's something nobody tells you. Expensive vehicles make you scared in your career. You can't quit the job you hate because you need the steady paycheck for the truck. You can't negotiate hard for a raise because you're terrified of getting fired. You can't take a risk on starting a business or changing careers because the truck has you handcuffed to stability. That $90,000 status symbol just turned you into a prisoner of your own paycheck. And the really twisted part, the truck doesn't even make you happy after month 3. There's something psychologists call hedonic adaptation. You get used to anything. That first week, climbing into the cab feels amazing. You feel successful, you feel powerful. But by week 12, it's just your car. The thrill is gone. You don't even notice the leather seats anymore. But the payment, that's forever. The insurance bill arrives like clockwork. You've traded permanent financial stress for temporary emotional satisfaction. Let's run an experiment. Imagine two versions of you in parallel universes. Universe A, you bought the $90,000 truck, you're making payments, stressed about money, stuck in your current job. Universe B, you bought the $28,000 sedan and invested the $879 monthly difference. After 7 years, Universe A, you owns a truck worth maybe $45,000 and has zero savings. Universe B, you owns a car worth $12,000 but has $95,000 in investments. Which version is actually winning? Here's where some of you are thinking, but I actually use my truck. I haul stuff. I go off-roading. I tow my camper. Okay. And if that's genuinely true, if you're using that truck's capabilities every single week, then fine, you're buying a tool. But be brutally honest with yourself. Most truck owners use the bed maybe 6 times a year. You know, you could rent a U-Haul for $30 each time and save $80,000 over 7 years. You're not buying utility. You're buying a costume. The auto industry has spent billions convincing American men that truck ownership equals masculinity, equals competence, equals being a real man. They've created an entire mythology. The commercials show trucks conquering mountains, towing boats covered in mud. No, they don't show the reality. A guy in business casual sitting alone in traffic, listening to a podcast while making a payment that's destroying his net worth. And the dealerships are in on it. They don't care if you can afford it. They care if you can breathe and qualify for financing. They sit you down and run numbers. Okay, at 84 months, we can get you to $1,247 per month. Does that work? And you think, well, I make $7,000 a month, so yeah, I guess. You're not thinking about insurance, gas, tires, registration, or the fact that you just locked up 18% of your income for 7 years. This is the part where I'm supposed to tell you there's a hack, a secret way to have the truck and financial security, but there isn't. The math doesn't lie. That truck is a luxury item disguised as a necessity, and then it's going to cost you between $80,000 and $120,000 more than a sensible car. The only way to win is to stop playing the game. You need to opt out of the entire truck equals identity system. Here's what that looks like. You walk into a dealership, not for a truck, but for the most boring, reliable sedan you can find. A Honda Accord, a Toyota Camry, maybe a Mazda 3 if you want to feel slightly less dead inside. You buy it used, 3 years old, cash if possible. If not, you finance for 36 months maximum, not 84. Your payment is $350 instead of $1,100. That's $750 a month you just gave back to yourself. What do you do with that $750? You could invest it and have $95,000 in 7 years. But let's be real about human nature. You're not going to invest every dollar. You're going to spend some because you're human and you need joy. Yep, so spend it on things that actually improve your life. Take the vacation, buy the nice dinner, upgrade your mattress because you spend a third of your life on it. The difference is these purchases don't come with a 7 year anchor tied to your ankle. And when your buddy pulls up in his new Tundra and makes a comment about your cute little car, you smile because you know something he doesn't. You know his monthly payment is higher than your college rent used to be. You know he's one transmission failure away from financial disaster. You know that in 5 years you'll have options and he'll have a depreciating asset and a payment book. This is the secret dealerships don't want you to know. Cars aren't investments. They're not even really assets. They're tools. And you don't buy a $90,000 hammer to hang a picture. Well, the truck industry has convinced an entire generation that sedan drivers are less capable, less prepared, less masculine. It's brilliant marketing. It's also complete fiction. Your grandfather probably drove a station wagon and built his own house. The vehicle you drive has nothing to do with your capability. It has everything to do with your financial intelligence. The real question you need to ask is this: am I buying this truck because I need it or because I want to feel a certain way? If the answer is the second one, that's fine. Just be honest. Say, I'm spending $40,000 extra over 7 years to feel like someone who owns a truck. Own it. But don't lie to yourself and call it practical. Here's my actual advice. If you already own the truck and you're drowning, sell it. I don't care if you're upside down on the loan. I don't care if it feels like admitting defeat. You're not going down with a sinking ship to preserve your pride. Take the financial hit now, buy something reasonable, and stop the bleeding. Yes, you'll lose money on the sale, but you'll lose less than if you keep making payments for 5 more years. If you don't own the truck yet, but you're thinking about it, I'm going to save you $80,000 in 7 years of stress right now. Don't. Just don't. Go test drive the boring sedan, sit in it, it's comfortable, it's quiet, it gets you to work. And when you're sitting in traffic, you won't be doing mental math about whether you can afford your own vehicle. The auto industry built an empire on convincing you that you're not enough unless you're driving their overpriced machinery. They weaponized your insecurity and turned it into monthly payments. The only way to win is to see through it. You don't need the truck, you never did. What you need is breathing room in your budget, options in your career, and the ability to sleep at night without anxiety. The boring sedan gives you that. The $90,000 truck takes it away. So next time you're at a dealership and the salesperson is showing you the leather steering wheel and heated seats and 17 cup holders, remember this: they're not selling you a vehicle. They're selling you a financial prison with really nice upholstery. That's not losing. That's winning so hard most people can't even see it because we've been trained to measure success by the size of our payments instead of the size of our freedom. The math is clear. The truck is a trap. And the only way out is to stop pretending that burning $80,000 over 7 years makes you more of a man. Real strength is looking at the numbers, admitting you've been sold a lie, and choosing the path that builds actual wealth instead of just looking like it on Instagram. Buy the boring car, keep your money, build your life.